welcome to this episode of Living Purposed. And we are so excited to introduce a couple that is very dear to my heart. But before we get into that, we're going to ground ourselves as usual, get ourselves prepared and our minds set on learning and diving in together. So I'd invite you wherever you're at and whatever space you're in to close your eyes down and lower your gaze, whichever feels safest for you in your space, and just root your feet into the ground or wherever you're seated, whatever's touching the ground. Notice the space that you're sitting in and just begin to notice your breath. Notice your inhales and your exhales. And just maybe even whisper out thanks for this beautiful breath we've been given, this life we've been given to live with purpose and intention. In yoga, they call the pranayama the life-giving force that resides within us. And more I'm becoming aware of the importance and the blessing of this gift that we take for granted each and every day. So just notice this beauty that we have within ourselves, that we've been given. And today I invite you to begin to open up to the possibilities of transformation and hope today. Putting aside maybe your ideas of right and wrong and really living within this space of gray. Taking a deeper dive today into relationships, and just want you to bring up maybe a relationship that you are either currently in that may be a little bit of a struggle. Maybe it's a lot of a struggle. Or maybe one time within your life together with that person, you experienced struggle. Just bring their face to mind. Look at even the intricate details of their face. And I invite you just to maybe elicit love and compassion for that person. What would that look like? What would that feel like for you to have compassion for that person? A deep love for that person. What would that feel like in your body? What would that feel like in your heart? What would it feel like to have hope in that relationship with that person? Continued hope. Hope that would wipe away or would even make any of the emotions, the feelings, the hurts lessen. How would you embrace that person? And just seal that feeling into your heart space. Today, I'm going to read this quote that I found. That's one of my favorite quotes. Just listen to these words. Let these words kind of pour over you. Maybe let them just sink within the soil of your heart. Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. Today, that's what this is about. This isn't about right and wrong. This is about how can I engage in an unbecoming of maybe all of the things I've held on to and hold them a little bit lighter today so that I can become everything I was meant to be. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths in through the nose and maybe out of the mouth. 2 more just like that. Breath in. Exhale it all out. 1 more breath in. Exhale it all out. Just begin to blink the eyes open. Become aware of your surroundings. We're here. We've arrived. I'm so glad. And it is with great honor and a lot of emotion that I introduce these two guests, because these guests are really the reason that I am still, one of the reasons that I'm still married today. And I owe Joe and Caroline Fernandez probably my first child for the ways that they have engaged in our life and interjected in our life in the spaces that we needed it the most. And I know have been praying for us when we didn't think that anybody or anything was out there. We're like, this is done. We're over. Our marriage is over. We need to move on. And Joe and Caroline have gently and lovingly picked us up and held us. And I am so grateful for that. So this is my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother and my sister. And I just am so honored to have you here. So welcome. Thank you for being here with me today.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah. And you have made equally such a difference in our lives. You were the best sister-in-law, so loving to our daughters. Just an amazing auntie. And you inspire us with who you are and what you've become. You're amazing. Thank you for this opportunity.
And I watched you blossom.
Yeah.
To who you are
I know you guys have known me
today.
for probably,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting. You guys have known me longer than I haven't, like longer than, because I was 19 when I met you guys. I'm now 40, almost 48. So you've known me longer than you haven't known me, which is
Isn't that amazing?
such a
I see
blessing.
pictures of you like 2 weeks ago. Whoa, I can't believe how young she was.
I know I was.
You
I
were
was like
so
a baby.
young. You were like a
I
Michelle.
was. Yeah, I was a baby.
Yeah.
So I mean, this year has been a year of really kind of interviewing and having conversations with the people who have meant the most to me in my life.
Aww.
And you guys are on that list. And so I just feel so grateful. And, you know, a lot of times when we have come to you, it's been like, we're in crisis. And so it's like, I'm just so glad that they've always been like, yes, come. How many times do you need to see us? Like, and it's, it's just been, I mean, I've always felt like there was never, and I know some people have asked me like, oh, don't you feel like they take sides? I'm like, never.
Yeah.
There's never been a time where I've felt unsafe. I've always felt safe. I've always felt heard. I've always felt challenged. And even like, you can't be like that, Christine. Like you gotta like, you know, and I've seen myself grow as a product of being under your guidance and your ministry. So I'm grateful for you. So thankful. And we never really get to say these things to each other. And I fully wanted to take advantage of telling you that.
It's so amazing because I usually advocate for the in-law. Or even with my daughters. And that didn't work for one of my daughters. We're not going with dad and mom. They're not fair.
I have loved when you came into our lives and, wanted to do some work. I liked and I admire your conviction, passion, and determination to say, this is not going to be like this.
Exactly.
Things have to change.
Yes.
There has to be change.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. When I said desperation, I wasn't joking. It was like, can you tell your brother to get it together? I mean, I remember one time, the last time I was like, here, you can have him back. Like, here you go. He's yours. But you were like, no. Like, this is...
We don't want him.
No.
Yeah.
You're in this, Christine. So I'm grateful that you did that because our relationship is a... testimony of your work, and that's really why I felt like it was so important for other people to hear your work and what you're doing.
Thank you.
So
It was such a joy for me to see you and Roger hug. I don't know, it was the last time I saw you, and I went home and I told Joe, oh my gosh, do you see Roger and Christine? You know, there's hope.
So there really is.
And that's what we've always been about. Even when we go to Hope for Cancer, it's all about hope. with all our clients, it's hope. I mean, we've had couples that were on the verge of divorce, and we tell them, no, don't give up. Don't
Yeah.
give up. There's
Yeah.
hope.
And I love, like, I know that there's been times where you've even shared with me that there's seasons of life. You're not the same person that you were when you were 20. So
Yeah.
how are you
yeah.
going to grow together? How are you
Exactly.
going to, yeah. So anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
All
we could sit here for hours probably
Yeah.
and talk, but about that specific thing, but we got work to do.
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
All right. So I just want to give our listeners just a little idea about you guys. So Joe and Caroline, they've been married for 45 years.
No.
That's
Going on
47.
47.
47.
Yes,
well,
I
45
have to-
in ministry.
I have to,
Yeah.
46.
46.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow.
41 years of ministry
Okay.
before I got
41.
diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Yeah. Wow.
So they 41 years, yeah.
That's incredible. And together, you've raised 5 daughters
Mhm.
and
Yes.
18 grandchildren. I don't think there's any more grandchildren coming, but
No.
probably great grandchildren.
No, we have the perfect number. Perfect number.
I
9
wonder.
boys and 9 girls. God
Yeah,
could
yeah,
not
Yeah.
have
That's so
given us a
perfect.
perfect
I know.
set.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for the last 47 years, right? Yeah, 47. Joe and Caroline have been inspiring individuals as in marriage, family, and life coaches, and educators, and a pastor and pastor's wife. And Joe and Caroline are known for restoring and revitalizing marriages. Caroline has spent how many years have you spent in education?
Oh,
I have
about
45.
20. No,
I have
about
45
28.
years. Okay,
28.
28. Okay.
But 45 years of experience, as
right.
pastor's wife, counseling.
Right.
Mhm,
And so you were a teacher, adjunct university professor,
In,
a life, marriage, and transformational coach, conference speaker, and pastor's wife. And both Joe and Caroline, actually probably should call you Dr. Joe and Dr. Caroline Fernandez.
You don't have to.
Joe received his doctorate in ministry from Biola University. Caroline has her doctorate in education and teacher leadership from Walden University.
Walden.
Walden,
University. Yeah. Great. All right. So there's their credentials. So, yeah.
There's one more thing I'd like to add.
Yeah. Add it. I'm sure I missed something.
Yeah, we both are now, recently, it's another accomplishment, holistic cancer coaches. Certified
Really?
holistic cancer coaches, yes.
That I did not know.
Yeah. So that's a new awesome space of, helping people.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We do work with Hope for Cancer. It's a holistic cancer clinic out of Mexico. And so we do a lot of work down there. Yeah, at least 3-4 times a year. Go down for some treatments and do some support group time. We do a lot of different activities with them there, and just one-on-one, a lot of one-on-one. Companions of the patients, spend time with them, loving on them. Just a real time of a lot of encouragement and hope.
Yeah,
Hope
bring
for
them
cancer,
a lot of
So
hope and joy. And then on
Yeah.
Fridays, we always end up with teaching salsa classes.
yeah,
Oh
we
my
have
gosh.
And it
we
is
call it the
so
fun night.
cute
The fun night.
That's so
to see
cool.
couples who've never danced before,
Yeah.
or couples in their 60s
Mm-hmm.
dancing together, learning 4 or 5 patterns
Yeah.
That's so neat.
of
Mhm.
salsa. And
That's
it's
so neat.
just a joy.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's awesome. So this kind of goes into the next question. What has been your most favorite recent experience that you have had together?
Greece. When Joe was diagnosed with cancer, one of our daughters gifted us with finances, and she specifically directed us and said, do not give this money away to help people, because she knows.
I was ready to give it away.
I know you were. Joe.
I mean, portion of it, not all of it. And there's none away. And I want you to use this to travel. And
Yeah.
so Greece was a dream that we had. And it was a blissful experience. We went to Athens, spent 2 days there, 2 days in Santorini, 2 days in Mykonos, I think 4 days in Milos,
Milos.
and for
maybe
3 days
3 days.
in Rhodes, three,
Rhodes,
4 days
yeah,
in
yeah.
Rhodes. It was amazing.
incredible there.
Yes. And it was perfect.
It was perfect. I love the fact that the food was very the best. I
And
mean,
healthy.
we've gone through other parts of the world, but the
Yeah.
food was just
It's a different level there.
different level, right? And for me as a cancer thriver, holistic, as part of that treatment, food is really important. So it fit.
Yeah, yeah. Food's been
The
really important to you
salads,
guys anyways.
the salads and all that
Yeah.
good stuff there was really, really cool.
It was amazing.
Really, really good.
Yeah. Was there one specific thing that like sticks out in your head about
Yes.
that
I'll
trip?
tell you what that was. That her jumping off a cliff
Yes.
in a beach called
Saraquinico.
Saraquinico.
Yeah, and
in the
it's
island
like
of
an area
Milos.
in Milos and it looks like a moon crater.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely gorgeous. Actually, our niece, who was it? Jordan and Erin went there and showed me pictures, and I said I have to go, but there's a cliff that people jump off of, and that was my goal. But when I got there, it was like, I don't know, should I or shouldn't I? And Joe kept saying, Caroline, do it.
Yeah. Well, I was watching her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the background of that was there was a couple of college girls
Yes.
and another college boy, and they started to jump off of that particular cliff. They went up higher, So they were like, they're in their early 20s
Oh
and
my
they're
gosh.
diving off and jumping off,
Yeah.
and then Caroline is just hesitating. She says, should I do it? Should I do it? And I said, Caroline,
Go
we may
for it.
not be here again.
Yes.
It's now or never. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
She jumped off.
And before I jumped off, he told everybody, she's 67 years old.
No, I did that after you
Something
jumped.
like that. Oh, what did you do?
After you jumped, I just
Yeah.
said, "Hey, everybody! She's my wife. She's 67 years old.
And they were all
Check her out."
clapping.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And then another very special moment was that in Milos when you jumped off the boat?
Oh, the boat was in
Yeah.
Milos, yeah, the
Yeah.
Aegean Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a real nice 1 hour kind of ride.
We
over to us.
hired somebody.
Yeah, somebody, this
own
young boy,
private boat.
young man, and he was
Yeah.
specifically,
Yeah.
there's an area there. You're in the middle of a few of the little mountains, caves and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I said, I'm gonna jump in here,
Yeah.
and it was just so cool, so good. A lot of energy, a lot of healing,
Yeah.
We're
It's a-
definitely going to
I
go.
It was
love
a-
this is relationship
It's a
goals
very
right here.
positive
That
one.
each of your thing that was the thing that stuck out for you
Mm-hmm.
was each other's experience. That's relationship goals right there.
Isn't
We could
that-
just end this right here. That's all you got to do right there.
It was so amazing.
And this
We
is
have
part
a
of it
video
all.
dancing on
Well,
the
well,
boat,
is
too.
the thing is the whole concept of being an influencer, influence your partner,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, she influences me a lot.
Yeah.
I was there because of her,
Her, right.
right?
And
But
you
I
know-
took my experience,
Yeah.
but she put me there.
Right.
Yeah.
in a
But then
sense.
her favorite experience was watching you,
Right,
and yours
right.
was watching her.
And you
Right.
know what? I honestly, on the inside, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to jump.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I think he heard me say, no, I'm not going to jump. I'll just come back maybe
Mm-hmm. I'll do it
later.
next time.
And that's when
No,
he
no,
said,
no, no.
there
Yeah,
may never
no.
be a next time. You
Yeah.
better do it now. And I said,
True.
should I? Should I? And that was so awesome.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have photos of they took photos of me
So
jumping.
cool.
Yeah, it was just
Cool.
Next time.
magical,
Oh,
magical vacation.
I can feel it.
It was
I can
magical.
feel it. I feel
Yes.
how magical it was. Yeah, just by you talking about it.
Yeah.
So as we get into other things, obviously one of your passions has been traveling, like because you've traveled quite a bit in the last couple of years. But specifically to like your current passion project, can you share that with our listeners and what's going on? What
Yeah.
have you been
So after having experienced, I would say, 46 years of observing couples and looking at the research, looking at principles from the Bible, and what we've lived, experienced as a couple, we integrated some of what the experts created that helps communication. And for example, we used Hendricks' Imago Dialogue. We used Rosenberg's Nonviolent Communication, Norman Wright's material, and various materials, and we created our own, and we call it Communication That Heals.
So it has been about really helping couples communicate super well at their best, and it's an integration of various concepts, to be able to get to that point. So it's been a passion to learn to communicate well, not just ourselves.
Yeah.
Another thing that we both do, but I do most of this one, but we both have been certified as a prepare, enrich, assessment facilitators, which the foundational blocks for that one is communication, and learning the two basic blocks of communication. It's communication and conflict resolution. That's the basic in your relationship. If you know how to communicate and you know how to resolve your conflicts, then you can apply that to, and that's what Prepare and Enrich is all about. All the other areas, like partner styles and habits, finances, family of origin,
intimacy,
child raising, intimacy. Just a gamut of issues.
all those areas.
Because if you don't have the two building blocks of good communication skills and how to resolve when you're going to come at odds with each other, then you won't make it. But if you have those skills, then you're going to do super good. But it's a process.
And communication is a lifelong learning issue, and we're still learning and trying to master communication that heals with each other, and we're getting so good at it. However,
I think I'm feeling healed. I think I'm feeling healed.
Oh, me too. Well, you healed me. I had been looking for a therapist to deal with my issues, right? Because of Joe's cancer diagnosis, and I found one that was supposed to be covered by my insurance, but she wanted me to pay her first, and it was $145. But then the insurance said that they were not going to reimburse me. And I thought, oh, no, I don't have that money to pay. And so one day he took me out for lunch, and I told him, and I told him, oh, my gosh, I still need a therapist, and I can't find one. I can't afford the good ones. And then he said, well, what's going on? I'm not kidding you. For 1 hour, he did therapy work. I was crying. He did every aspect of a perfect therapy process, and it was good.
She didn't know she was in it. It's like, I just snuck it in there, and walked her through.
And later on, he said he saved me money. That was his goal. But I wanted to communicate what Norman Wright mentioned, why communication is so difficult. Number one, it's all about the message and what you want to say, what you actually say, what the hearer hears, what hearer thinks he or she heard, and what your hearer says about what you said, and what you think your hearer said about what you actually said. And that's why communication is so complex.
It is.
And
yet so simple.
Yes. And
because this same author says that communication is seeking to understand the other person and to be understood.
Yes.
And unless understanding has happened mutually, you have not really communicated.
Yes.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah. I have a distinct memory of sitting with you guys one time, and Roger's like, I just want to be understood. I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Yes.
So
Ah.
I cannot have empathy for that because I don't agree with it.
Well,
And I remember you guys saying, like, it's not about agreeing with him. It's just about, like, listening and letting him know that he's been heard. And I
well,
was
guess
like,
what? We didn't know this technique.
Yeah,
that
I know
we
you
created.
did it, but you
Had
kind of
we-
did, though.
Yes. No, we got it perfected.
I know you have
right?
it perfected now, but you already had, there were
Oh.
already seeds of that.
Yes,
that had
there
been
was, there was,
Because I
and-
remember when you said that to me, and I was just like, I remember sitting back in my seat, and I'm like, no, but I don't understand it. I
Yes.
can't understand it.
yeah, yeah.
I remember that. Yeah. There was just so much hurt on your part.
You started to say that it's communication that heals, and that's kind of like where
Yeah.
how I conceptualize it is that we come into each other's space, and we open up our hearts to that partner, and it's like you gotta feel safe, and so my partner is coming to me, and I can't be thinking about myself, but rather, she wants to, through words, through trying to be understood, is trying to heal from something that I might even have caused. It's part of the relationship, right?
I was just thinking that she's come in
Yeah.
with trauma.
Yeah.
She's come in with
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
not being understood her whole life,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
not even knowing how to communicate that, or even knowing.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
that's
The only
need.
way you can heal that is through really using the proper skills
Yeah.
and the patience to work it all through in that process,
And
the-
so communication that heals is about training the person who has that complaint, that issue that needs to be communicated to their partner, to have the clarity and the know how to do it. For example, the first thing that has to happen is that the person who wants to communicate needs to get clear with what is the complaint and what is the issue. It's got to be one issue. And then timing. And it has to be the right timing, and that person has to ask permission, like, Joe, is this a good time to talk? Because a lot of times in a relationship, we just want to say something to our partner, and the
Right.
timing is not right.
Right.
And that
So
simple
important.
act of asking, is this a good time to talk to you about an issue?
Right, yeah.
And he gets to say yes or no.
I
And
think
then-
that's so important, because I think even early on, clarifying when is a good time. Obviously when you're not
Exactly.
hungry, obviously when you're not before bed, obviously there's a distinction of like even before you even get in, even get to marriage, get to in the relationship, is to know when are the good times to talk, when are the good times when do I feel the safest? Because you may be in a space where you don't really feel as safe too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
making
then-
those boundaries.
And so intention, communicating your intention is very important. And for example, one can say my intention in communicating this issue with you is so that you get to know me and my real needs, understand me, and also I want to have that intimacy with you. I really want to open up and let you know what my fears and needs are. So it's very important to communicate that intention. And then Joe,
Communicated intention becomes less threatening to the other person on
Yes.
the other side.
instead of,
And it's not
well,
about what
you
they
need to
do.
know where I'm coming from. It's, a lot of time in when couples are having issues, it's all about, well, I'm just going to let him know what I'm feeling. I'm just going to let him know what I'm thinking.
Right.
And I need to voice my opinion, but it's missing those components of timing and also of asking
Intention.
permission and expressing your intention. And so now the bulk of the communication, you explain, it had to do with observation, thoughts, feelings, needs, and requests. So I think it's better if I give an example of communication that heals that I did during a workshop that we
Right.
had. Joe and I try to give an example of something that we were dealing with during the time that before the time that we do our workshop. And
Right.
so what I'm going to say right now, Joe didn't even know what that issue was. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so hey, is this a good time to talk?
A perfect time to talk.
Okay.
I hope you get that response from all husbands.
So my intention with addressing this issue with you is so that we continue to just really get to know each other and know what annoys us about each other, and also work on continual supporting each other. Okay,
Right,
and
right,
so we
okay.
could just live happy lives, right? Okay, so this is my observation, Joe. In the last 46 years that we've been married,
Okay.
I've observed that when you lose your keys, usually it's your keys, your phone, and your pen, your Mont Blanc pen that somebody gave you.
Right.
Immediately, your response, your reaction would be, Caroline, what did you do with my keys? And I'm like, I didn't do anything. Caroline, you always do. You're always cleaning up. And I know you did something. So, and there's more to that of how you say that, but it's that type of response. And when that happens, my thoughts are like, what is wrong with him? He's so weird. He's so grumpy. He's always assuming that I'm the one that took things. And, I get confused because I don't want to make a big thing out of it. Sometimes I just don't know what to do. But definitely I'm left feeling currently in the last maybe year annoyed. But before that, I would feel sad. I would feel insulted and hurt and just kind of process those feelings of rejection and what I consider disrespect. But of late, I would just get annoyed. And I don't like that. I don't like, and neither do I like thinking that way about you. Like he's so, so weird and so he's like his dad, which you hate, right? That's the worst thing I can say.
Right.
And so my need is to feel safe and to feel respected when you lose something. My request is when you lose something, all you have to do is say, Caroline, I lost my keys. I can't find my pen. Did you see it? That's all I'm asking. Can you do that?
Wow, man, you waited 47 years to.
I know, because
I was thinking, I was like, wow.
Yes.
Endured a lot.
And you know why? And I'll tell you why. Because there's a dysfunctional part of me of knowing when and how to express my voice. And I'm better now because there's a new Caroline that has emerged.
Yeah. I was going to say that's going to.
Yeah, but
that's going to tie
I did
in.
this like last year. I
Right.
think about
Yeah.
like early in the year of 2023, but I've kind of
Yeah.
grown since then.
And I will respond to you, but there's a tie-in to that.
Yeah.
And we're going to probably address it
Yeah.
in this podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, but we deviated.
yeah. No,
You have to respond.
I just said I'm going to come back.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, honey.
Yeah. So the thing is, okay. So I heard you say that there is a particular behavior of mine that really annoys you, and that is that I assume that you have somehow done something with my keys or my valuable pen, right? And so, and when I do that, again, you feel annoyed, you feel you're bothered by it, and then it makes you think that you know, this guy is not right, or it makes you think, will I ever get better? And so that's a lot, right? And so your need is to really be respected. Your need is to to be treated properly, be treated right.
Because it leaves me
Yeah,
feeling.
because it leaves you feeling annoyed, disrespected. So, so then I have to change that. You are asking me that I simply make a little change, and that is, don't blame you, don't assume anything, but just come with a simple question. Hey, have you seen my keys? Or I could say, I noticed that my keys have grown feet lately. Maybe they walked away.
I love that.
Did you see them walk by?
I love it. Yes. Yes. And yes. Now remember, you're supposed to ask me, is there more?
Oh, and yeah. Did I hear you right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, is there more?
No,
No.
that's it.
Yeah, so you make a lot of sense. What you're saying makes a lot of sense. And I'm so sorry.
Forgive you.
Yeah, I did not. That was not my intention.
I know.
So, but I get it, and I will take responsibility for that and make it be better at it. So I'm willing to grant you that request.
Yay.
Okay, are we
Awesome.
good?
Thank you. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Would you forgive me for that?
Yes, of course.
Awesome.
And
Okay,
guess what?
so
It's been amazing.
I'm sure it is, but this is a perfect world. And I'm immediately thinking like, my ego would come in so big
Yeah.
for myself. And I know that about myself.
Yeah.
If
Come
Roger
on,
were
come
to
on,
say, no,
come on.
Yeah,
I'm being real
yeah,
right
yeah.
now, like
Yes.
really honest.
Yes,
and
Very
yeah,
good.
no,
like,
this is good.
I would, I mean, typical, you guys know that Roger and I have always, our biggest issue has been finances, which I know most people who are hearing this know that's also probably theirs. I immediately get stuck on, oh gosh, where he wants to talk about money. And all these things roll through my head. And then I become defensive. So if there was a partner, if this was a situation where Joe was like, well, why are you blaming me for that? You're the one who always, puts things away. You're the one who's always moving things around. How do you then continue to communicate in an effective way to bring that person or to assist that person in a loving way to come alongside and in understanding?
Okay, so
I think that first of all, you allow that person to have that emotion. I think you have to find yourself that you're not reactive, but really respond. And then you got to go back to your basic approach to the whole matter, and what do we call it? Repeat again what your intention was or what you want to address.
So are you
You know.
talking
I love that.
about you being the
I'm
communicator?
just saying,
or
if
About you, if
Right.
I would have said to you, what is now mind you, what we just
Oh, I
display is a product of so many years
right,
of
right.
failure and
Right.
friction
Yeah.
and walking away,
Yeah.
Right.
going to bed angry,
Yeah. Right.
not shutting down,
Yeah.
basically. So that's a lot of work,
yeah.
right?
That was my point.
Yes,
My
yes,
point is that
yes.
this is a practice
Yeah.
that is a continual coming back to it and refinement.
Yes.
And it's not just like I just want listeners to know that
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
47
So I-
years.
so I
and
think from
there's
the-
a
from the-
script.
from
There's
the-
a script.
Yeah, but from the one
Yeah.
who responds,
Yeah.
from you, I was the responder.
Yeah.
But you initiated.
Yeah.
I think what we need to clarify is that
The
you
res-
have to stick
You have to mirror.
maybe come back
Yeah.
and say again, I understand, validate, empathize with their response or reaction, but you got to go back and start over.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you for that. You know what? That's not. I know. I hear you. I see you. But I want to just repeat again.
Let's start all over.
Start all over.
And we've had to do that.
So what I'm hearing is that if there's just one person that's willing, that and consistent, that there is a bigger possibility that the other person will come along.
Well,
I feel like it would
well,
be hard for
actually,
somebody not to.
well,
Right.
guess what? If this has to be done in a practice where we have to guide the couple on how to do it because they don't know how to do it.
Right.
So we instruct the person. We instruct the person that has to communicate to separate their observation, get clear with what the complaint is, get clear with that. What is the complaint? The complaint is that you don't spend time with me, okay? That's a complaint. So come up with the observation. I notice when you come home from work, the first thing you do is you you watch TV and then you walk the dog and, and then you take a shower and then you just want to go to bed. Okay, my thoughts when you do that is that, whoa, he doesn't care. And that's my thoughts, okay? And that leaves me feeling unloved and rejected, okay? My need is to feel love, and I'm saying this in a very short way, but very logical.
Yeah.
And my request is when you come home, I would like for you to give me a kiss first,
Yeah.
okay?
So
Just,
you
and let's
express
have
your
like
needs and
yeah,
specific.
yeah.
be specific.
But see, this is the thing. We have to instruct the hearer to mirror what that person said. So,
right.
what did I just say, honey? What did I just say?
Oh, well.
Or did you hear what I
was
said?
listening,
Okay,
yes.
see, mirror what I said and
Yeah.
validate my feelings and empathize with me. Okay, can you mirror what I
heard
said?
That when I come home, that I just go about my business, do my own thing. I don't come and kiss you. I don't acknowledge you.
Yeah. And how does that make me feel?
I would imagine lonely.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? I can't remember.
I said unloved and rejected.
Oh, I'm being the man. in the
Yeah.
relationship.
And then what else did
I
I,
don't
say?
remember.
What else did I say? What else did I say, honey? What was my need?
To be seen.
And what
That
was
you
my
need to be seen.
request?
That I come and give you a kiss.
Yeah.
Connection.
Yeah.
Or connection.
Small
Yeah.
Connect with
connection
you.
time.
Okay, so, and then ask me, is there more?
Is there more?
No, that's just it. And then what do? You're supposed to
So
validate.
Then I validate, and then I come
And
to
when
you
you
and I say,
validate, say, you know what? I see how, tell me, wow.
Yeah. Validation has
yeah.
to do with your perspective.
Understanding.
Yeah,
Mhm.
how you're validating.
Your
How do you
perspective,
validate me?
your
Like,
reality is
I
that.
can see how you feel that way. Tell me that.
I can see how you feel like that. That I must feel lonely, and that
Yeah.
must feel like you're not seen.
Yeah. And then empathizing would be like, I remember when my mom used to do that to me when I was a kid. Say that to me.
I remember when my mom used to do that to me.
Yeah.
That must-
And then
that
by
was
that
hard.
time, I'm crying
Yeah.
because you're healing me.
Yeah.
You heard
Yeah.
me. And then you're crying because you're not focused on being defensive. This is what happened. Oh, honey, when you come home, I notice that what I said, and then what do you say? I can't believe this. You're always nagging me. You're always coming. You don't even understand what I'm going through. That's what happens. So communication that heals involves a script, and when we do that, oh man, there's
magic.
healing and
Yeah.
crying.
And I'm going to give you a reason why
And
it,
then-
involves
oh, wait, I
why it
gotta
involves
say
a
this.
script, though.
And you know what's funny? It's like I remember one time we had a couple, and the guy was pouring his heart out, just like the way we told him to, and the wife said something else, and I said, "No, that's not what he said. He did not say that. What did he say? Oh, that's not what he said. No, because a lot of times we interpret what was said, but we don't we don't mirror.
We don't hear it.
See, the thing is that what we need to learn how to do is mirror each other's experience. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah, and you were going to say something.
I was going to
Sorry.
add, I think this is important to kind of like what drives you is like your framework if you're going to do this work of this type of communication. I call it the James Principle. Okay, in the James Principle simply says, let everyone be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Now check that out. If you break it down, right? Quick to hear is a listening part, having the proper active listening skills, right? Because we're usually on a defensive mode. We're not hearing to understand, right? We are listening to fight back,
Yes.
defend ourselves,
Exactly.
right? And then quick to listen, slow to speak. We want to blurt out as reactionary, right? And the reason we do this response that is so quick is because we haven't done the third part, which is slow to anger. EQ, which is emotional intelligence, Dr. Travis Bradbury, okay, talks about the EQ has to do with you got to let yourself go from deep feeling to proper logical reasoning. And that comes from the back of your brain up to your frontal lobe, which is your upper brain, lower brain.
The lower brain is the amygdala.
Amygdala, the emotional part, right?
The fight, flight,
So it's so
freeze, and
wise
fawn.
then, therefore, again, if you are just hearing, your brain goes into work, right?
Like this.
Don't say anything yet. Just listen well, right? Your listening skill. So your emotional stuff is left behind, and you can go into your thinking brain, your upper brain. And then you are able, to respond. And emotion hasn't controlled the interaction, whether it be anger, shifting blame,
Getting
defensiveness, stonewalling.
criticism.
I'm not talking to you, so
Stonewalling.
yeah. So there has to be a framework that you are willing to own
Yeah.
as a couple to be able to
Yeah.
make it work.
Yeah.
But again,
This is
it takes years. It
This
takes
is
much
actually-
practice.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour workshop when we do it,
Yeah.
but we love doing this in our office setting because a lot of times it's the first time that they're heard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the beginning, we have to actually cut.
Yep.
No. Hold on. No. What is it that she said? What is it? What was the observation? What was the thought? And separate thought, feelings, observation. It's like an investigator. I came in. She had a gun, and there was a person shot on the floor. That's observation. Thought is, oh, you know what? She was mad at him, and that's why, that's now interpreting, creating a story. Yeah, so separate your observation of what the issue is and then what you're thinking about it, and try to, not to be critical when you're expressing your thoughts about it. And then don't say, you make me feel. I don't know if you noticed, I said, I'm left feeling.
It's your experience.
It's my,
Yeah, what
I
you're
feel this
experiencing
way
in the
because,
relationship.
that's,
Right.
I have issues
Right.
with sensitivity or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you just, men want to know how to fix
Yep.
you because they're fixers.
Yep.
So when you tell them
It's
what
true.
my need is and my request, it's like, oh, I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
Joe always tells me,
my
what do you
framework
want?
usually has to begin with like literally biting my tongue. Like I have literally learned for myself that I have to bite
James.
my tongue. And that's when you said that, I immediately thought of that. And I have to take deep breaths. And I just have to I have to do that because that's what works for me. Because I immediately want to go into not listening. I immediately want to go to defending,
Exactly.
anger. I go straight there. And so knowing that about yourself is so important.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like
No,
knowing.
no. Now know this, that when that relationship has gone so far into the hole, where you got deep roots of bitterness, this stuff doesn't
Doesn't
work.
work. And you can't try to do this on your own without first learning the technique and understanding it
Yeah.
well. And you both agree
Yeah.
to do it according to the script.
Be sure to follow livingpurposed.podcast on Instagram for more in-depth conversation and opportunities to get your questions answered and to be encouraged along this path to learning and living out our divine purpose. Let's live purposed together.